Welcome to the Growing Tall Poppies podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nat Green, and I'm so excited to have you join me as we discuss what it means to navigate your way through post-traumatic growth and not just survive, but to thrive after trauma. Through our podcast, we will explore ways for you to create a life filled with greater purpose, self-awareness, and a deep inner peace. Through integrating the many years of knowledge and professional experience, as well as the wisdom of those who have experienced trauma firsthand, we will combine psychology, accelerated approaches, coaching, and personal experience to assist you to learn, to grow, and to thrive. I hope to empower you to create deeper awareness and understanding and stronger connections with yourself and with others, whilst also paving the way for those who have experienced trauma and adversity to reduce their suffering and become the very best versions of themselves in order to thrive. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. Hi there, and welcome back to Growing Tall Poppies. I'm your host, Dr. Nat Green, and as always, I'm so thrilled to have you here. Together, we're diving deep into the 7 trauma archetypes of transformation, exploring how each archetype helps us navigate the journey from trauma through to post-traumatic growth. Last episode, we explored the reflective orchestrator, diving into its introspective strengths and the beauty of creating harmony after trauma. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, then I highly recommend it. It's a powerful look at turning reflection into healing. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, then I would highly recommend you go back and listen to episode 33, where I introduced the archetypes of transformation. So this week, we're shifting gears again and focusing on a bold and courageous archetype. Today, we're uncovering the authentic warrior, an archetype driven by courage, truth, and a steadfast commitment to living life authentically. If you've ever felt the fire to reclaim your voice, to be unapologetically yourself, and to stand strong in your truth, then this episode is absolutely for you. And if you've ever felt the pull to step fully into your power and embrace the person that you know that you were always meant to be, then this episode is really for you. So the authentic warrior is a beacon of resilience and strength, refusing to be defined by their past. This archetype emerges when someone has reached a point where they no longer want to hide or to dim their light. They are motivated by a deep desire to live authentically, aligned with their values and unafraid to speak their truth. Authentic warriors are natural leaders, advocates and protectors of themselves and of others. Their courage inspires those around them, showing that authenticity is not just liberating, but also empowering. The authentic warrior is all about courage, authenticity, and integrity. This archetype emerges when someone decides to stop hiding behind masks or societal expectations and really begins living in alignment with their deepest values. If you resonate with the authentic warrior, you might have experienced a pivotal moment where you realized that living out of alignment with your true self was no longer sustainable. This archetype represents the bravery that it takes to shed layers of pretense, come out from behind the mask, and to reclaim your voice and embrace vulnerability as a strength. There are a number of core strengths of the authentic warrior. Let's explore them and how they can guide your healing journey. So, number 1, the courage to stand in your truth. Authentic warriors refuse to stay silent or small. They confront difficult truths and take bold steps toward living authentically. This courage allows them to break free from the limitations of their trauma and to rebuild their lives on a foundation of integrity. So, some tips for doing this are to practice small acts of authenticity. Speak your truth in a safe place, even if it feels vulnerable. Start with something simple, like sharing your preferences or opinions without fear of judgment. Number 2, the courage to face vulnerability. The authentic warrior is willing to face their fears and vulnerabilities head on. They know that healing requires bravery and that showing up as their true self, even when it feels uncomfortable, is the ultimate act of strength. In fact, from my experience, they actually firmly believe and feel deep inside themselves that there's no other way to do it. They feel that they absolutely have to do it that way. So if that feels similar to you, and some tips for how to access this strength are to practice radical honesty. Start by being honest with yourself. Ask, what am I hiding or perhaps avoiding out of fear? Then take small steps to share your truth with trusted people. You can embrace your vulnerability. It's important to understand that vulnerability is not a weakness, but in fact a doorway to deeper connections and growth. So begin by expressing one small authentic truth, such as how you're feeling or what you truly need. And you can rewrite your limiting beliefs. Replace I can't because with what if I could? Challenge beliefs that hold you back from being fully yourself. And number 3, resilience through vulnerability. As I've said, authentic warriors understand that vulnerability isn't a weakness. In fact, it's a profound source of connection and strength. They use their openness to heal relationships, to deepen connections, and build resilience. So, a tip for you is to lean into your vulnerability as a form of strength. Reflect on the moments when being vulnerable actually led to growth or deeper connection for you. And number 4, living in alignment with core values. Authentic warriors are guided by their internal compass. They're really clear on their values and strive to make decisions that reflect who they truly are. So, a way for you to access this strength is to identify your values. Take the time to clarify your top, say, 3 to 5 values. What truly matters to you? And I know that often after trauma, that can actually become so much clearer because the things you used to worry about or put time and effort into become quite insignificant. It becomes so much clearer what truly is important to you. So some examples of your top values might include integrity, freedom, connection, or growth. And I would suggest you conduct a values audit. Reflect on areas of your life, career, relationships, health. Are they aligned with your values? If not, then brainstorm one action you can take to bring them more into alignment for you. Then I would suggest you set boundaries. Protect your values by learning to say no to what doesn't serve you. Use empowering phrases like, I appreciate the offer, but this just doesn't align with my priorities right now. Number 5 is an unyielding commitment to values. Once an authentic warrior aligns with their truth, they remain steadfast in living by their core values, even when it's uncomfortable or challenging. So really take the time to clarify your values. Ask yourself what truly matters to me, and am I living in alignment with those priorities right now? Number 6, inspiring others through strength and truth. Authentic warriors have the ability to inspire others by living boldly and authentically. Their story becomes a testament to the power of resilience and truth. So, in order to access this strength, share your story. Speak about your journey in safe places, whether it's with close friends, in a community group, or through writing. Sharing helps others feel less alone, and it also serves to strengthen your own confidence. And also, lead by example. Live in a way that inspires others to do the same. Let your actions reflect your truth, and people will naturally be drawn to your authenticity. And then you can look to advocate for change. Use your voice. Use it to stand up for what matters to you, whether it's within your family, your workplace, or your community. Advocacy doesn't have to be a great big grand gesture. It can start with a simple conversation. So, as we know by now, every archetype comes not only with its strengths, but with its challenges. And the authentic warrior is no exception. The common challenges for the authentic warrior are, firstly, fear of rejection or judgment. Living authentically can sometimes mean losing people or opportunities that don't align with your truth. And this fear can make you hesitate to fully step into your power. The desire to live authentically can be met with fear of how others will perceive you. So, a tip for overcoming this is to practice self-compassion. Remind yourself, my worth is not determined by others' opinions. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your authenticity, with people who celebrate the real you. And practice affirmations like, I'm worthy of love and respect just as I am. Secondly, a challenge can be around exhaustion from constant bravery. Being courageous all the time can be extremely draining, especially when authenticity feels like a constant battle. So here's a tip. Remember, rest is also brave. Give yourself permission to step back and to recharge. And thirdly, another challenge is overextending to protect or to help others. Warriors often feel responsible for shielding others or taking on too much. So a tip to overcome that challenge is to recognize the power of delegation. Ask yourself, is this truly my responsibility? Or can I empower someone else to step in? And fourthly, struggling with perfectionism. The drive to get it right can sometimes hold authentic warriors back from taking action. So a tip to overcome that challenge is to focus on progress, not perfection. Use an affirmation such as, I'm enough just as I am. And every step forward is worth celebrating. And fifthly, another challenge is navigating conflict. Speaking your truth may lead to difficult conversations or disagreements. While this can be uncomfortable, it's often necessary for growth. So, a tip around overcoming this challenge would be to approach conflict with compassion and a focus on resolution rather than on blame. So, to thrive as an authentic warrior, there are a number of guiding principles. Celebrate your wins and celebrate your truth. Each time you choose authenticity over fear, celebrate it. These small victories build confidence and resilience. Make a list of moments where you showed up authentically, no matter how small. Reflect on how those moments made you feel. And next, create a daily courage ritual. Each morning, set an intention to act courageously that day. For example, today I will share my opinion in the meeting, or I'll ask for what I need without apology. And another way to thrive as an authentic warrior is to find your tribe. Seek out supportive communities where you feel safe being your authentic self, showing up truly as you. No apologies, no holes barred. Connection fuels courage. So if you were wanting to become part of our Thrive After Trauma community, then head on over to Facebook and feel free to request to join. We'd love to have you as part of our community. And another way to assist you in thriving as an authentic warrior is to practice self-compassion. Being authentic doesn't mean being perfect. Embrace your imperfections and give yourself grace. And lastly, find your why. Anchor yourself in your purpose. Ask, why does living authentically really matter to me? Write it down and revisit it whenever you feel uncertain or afraid. So let's look at an example of the authentic warrior in action. Let me introduce you to Margaret. Margaret beautifully embodies the authentic warrior archetype. She is the epitome of the authentic warrior. After enduring years of emotional abuse, she emerged from her trauma determined to reclaim her life and live in alignment with her truth. For years, she had relied on her inner strength to get through the darkest moments, actively building a fortress around herself to protect her heart and her vulnerability. However, as Margaret began her healing journey, she realized that her strength alone was not enough. She felt as though something was keeping her stuck, and she was unable to move forward despite all of her efforts. She recognized that she needed to learn how to embrace her vulnerability if she was ever going to fully heal. So Margaret's turning point came when she started working with a trauma-informed therapist who encouraged her to explore the parts of herself that she had kept hidden for so long. In the sessions, Margaret began to explore her values and to reconnect with her authentic self. She made brave choices, leaving a job that no longer aligned with her values, setting boundaries in unhealthy relationships, and pursuing a creative passion that she'd long ignored. And through this work, Margaret was able to accept herself for who she was and learn that vulnerability was absolutely not a weakness, but was actually a source of immense power. She began to soften her armor, allowing herself to feel her emotions and gradually let one or two people in so she could share her struggles with others. And as she embraced her vulnerability, Margaret discovered a new depth of strength, one that was rooted in authenticity, connection, and self-compassion. Margaret's story demonstrates that the path to healing for the authentic warrior is not about abandoning strength, but about blending and enhancing it with vulnerability. By allowing herself to be seen in her entirety, Margaret was able to unlock a deeper level of healing and of personal growth. As a result, she has made huge progress and now prides herself on opening her heart to others and living her values and inspiring others to do exactly the same. So if you see yourself in the authentic warrior, know that courage is your superpower. Living authentically doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means you'll feel it and move forward anyway. So I want you to ask yourself today, what truth am I ready to own? What step can I take to align with my values? Does the authentic warrior resonate with you? If so, really take a moment to reflect. Where in your life are you already showing up authentically? What's one small but brave step you can take today to live more in alignment with your truth. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your reflections, and celebrate your wins. Head on over and join the Thrive After Trauma community on Facebook or connect with me on social media to share your story. And please don't forget to take the Trauma Archetypes quiz to discover your unique archetype and also to receive personalized strategies to accelerate your healing journey. The link is in the show notes, and I'd absolutely love for you to share it among everyone you know, all your friends, your family, colleagues. The more people that can find out and discover their archetypes and move from trauma into post-traumatic growth, heal and thrive, the better. I'd love for you to do that, to share it, and join me in my mission to really work on ridding the world of suffering associated with trauma. Next week, we'll explore the radiant alchemist, an archetype with the ability to transmute their pain into something meaningful, purposeful, and often profoundly beautiful. It's a truly inspiring journey that you won't want to miss. Until then, remember, healing is a journey, and wherever you are, you're exactly where you need to be. Take care, keep standing tall, and being the tall poppy that you were always destined to be. Be kind to yourself. See you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Growing Tall Poppies. It is my deepest hope that today's episode may have inspired and empowered you to step fully into your post-traumatic growth so that you can have absolute clarity around who you are, what matters the most to you, and to assist you to release your negative emotions and regulate your nervous system so you can fully thrive. New episodes are published every Tuesday, and I hope you'll continue to join us as we explore both the strategies and the personal qualities required to fully live a life of post-traumatic growth and to thrive. So if it feels aligned to you and really resonates, then I invite you to hit subscribe, and it would mean the world to us if you could share this episode with others who you feel may benefit too. You may also find me on Instagram at Growing Tall Poppies and Facebook, Dr. Natalie Green. Remember, every moment is an opportunity to look for the lessons and to learn and increase your ability to live the life you desire and deserve. So for now, stay connected, stay inspired, stand tall like the tall poppy you are, and keep shining your light brightly in the world. Bye for now.